One of the basic needs for economic growth of citizens, investors, and industries, both small and medium-scale entrepreneurs, is electricity supply. No thanks to the former supply and the distribution that have hampered Nigerian economy over decades. Spectacle program today, we will look into this from the angle of the recent statement of the Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, who said Nigerians should expect 20 gigawatts of distribution on or before the end of 2020. We shall also look into the committee inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari and the prospect of economic reform and revamp. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Stay tuned after this timeout.
This is Television Nigerian, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Gusape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports, and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your number one choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas.
Welcome back. Today's program will be open to audience to participate. You can send in your contribution via the numbers that will be displayed or already displayed on your screen. And for the benefit of those vision impaired ones, you could call us on 081-3701-5949 or 070-5432-7616. Of course, just of recent, the Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, have said that he, on or before 2020, will be hitting 20 gigawatts of electricity capacity. And of course, before the advent of President Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Nebo Chinedu and Professor Bat Naji, both were the former ministers of power under former President Jonathan. And they hit 4,000 megawatts of supply. But one question that Nigerians keep asking is that despite this attainment of various power supply, talking about the megawatts, Nigerians, especially those at the rural areas, have lacked electricity supply. When Buhari came in, President Muhammadu Buhari came in and appointed Mr. Rajiv Fashola to head the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, Fashola immediately took Nigerians to 5,000 megawatts and later to 7,000 megawatts. Even at that, it does not commiserate with supply on our streets. Today, the advent of Maman Saleh, who asks Nigerians to pray for him upon inception to be able to achieve light up Nigeria with this vision on or before 2020, have said that they are going to be distributing, or they are going to hit 20 gigawatts, not megawatts anymore. You know, the difference between megawatts and gigawatt is by 1,000. That is, before you leave megawatt to gigawatt, you have 1,000 capacity. So whatsoever generating we have been before have to be multiplied by 1,000. And the man have just said 20 gigawatts supply of electricity will be given to the country, with over 600 million metering across the nation. And some analysts are of the opinion that 600 million metering will not be enough for Nigerians, especially at the rural area, because the basic or fundamental economic hub relies largely on power supply. And we want Nigerians to have their say while we pray for Saleh Maman, the new minister, who have the portfolio and the technical know-how, whose onus is now to give Nigerians power to achieve his promise, and especially noting that in previous times, a lot of ministers have come and gone promising to emancipate Nigerians, especially those with small, medium-scale businesses and industries and industrialists, promising that they will emancipate us from the quagmire of what darkness and epileptic supply of electricity. Have your say on this program. Give us 1 minute. We will be back to open the phone lines for you to contribute. Thank you for staying tuned. Welcome back. While we're discussing about power, Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari of recent have dissolved the former economic team under Vice President Yemi Osibanjo and inaugurated a new economic advisory committee headed by Mr. Doyin Salami. And Mr. President have given them the directive that they should report to him directly on economic matters, and that Nigerians should hope and believe that he is here to give us palliative measures from the economic default that we've entered since 2015. Don't forget that Mr. President, at many occasions, have given palliative measures to states in the form of bailout, and have also instituted policies that will kind of give palliative succors to Nigerians, especially youth, graduate artisans, in the form of the social investment programs. Now that we have a non-partisan team of economists like Doyin Salami, and of course Professor Soludo is also there, we will not forget in a hurry one of the statements of Soludo that said that anyone who will take over from Jonathan in 2015 should be ready to face economic, downturn. Also, the same statement came from the former Minister of Finance too, talking about, was that her name, former Minister of Finance, on the course of the program. If I remember, I'll tell you. She also made the statement emphatically that Nigerian economy as of 2015 have gone default and that Nigerians, the federal government was not saving. There was no money in the treasury at all, that the treasury was empty, and whoever would take over from Jonathan will suffer a lot of economic hardship. And of course, when Mr. President came in, we all suffered it. Your calls are beginning to come in, but make it brief. And you can also reach us on text messages and WhatsApp while we continue concurrently as we continue the program. We will not forget that former CBN, president of the CBN, who is now Emir today, talking about Emir Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, emphatically told Nigerians too that we should gear up for economic hardship when 20 billion naira was missing from the excess crude fund. Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Kenneth. Okay, you can go ahead with your contribution. You are live on air, and we are talking about the electricity distribution and the economic team of Mr. President.
Okay, first of all, when we talk about the economic, the electricity tariff in this country, I don't think we have anything going on or happening in the electricity sector or the power sector rather, because I think there's so much corruption there.
Okay.
Yes, why? Because you see, some of these farmers, you see all this in these rural areas, we have so many business going on here, like the barbing salon, the welding, and so on. And some people they need electricity to survive. You find out that at the end of the day, you spend more on fuel to gain little. I think this electricity tariff it works mostly in the urban area. It doesn't come down to the rural area because of the deep corruption happening inside there.
All right. And the statement of the new Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, attaining 20 gigawatts of distribution before or at the end of 2020. What do you have to say about that?
I think all those things are just mere talk. Talk is cheap now, you know. With the massive corruption going on there, they can't achieve it.
And could you identify one area of corruption, as you rightly asserted, or you asserted? What area do you see corruption in the power sector?
Yes, there's power in there's corruption in the power sector. You know the area I'm saying, we don't have meter.
Okay.
We're not using meter. And there was a time that they came down here to do enumeration, saying they are going to bring meter. The meter has been located for us to have meter. See, up to date that I'm talking to you, there's no meter. And there was a time the former minister of power said, this person, Baba Sele Fashola, says that if you don't have meter, you don't need to pay any electricity bill.
Okay.
We're still paying him. Each time they come, they see the meter is coming. There was a time they came to our house and say, okay, we should bring 40,000 naira for meter.
Okay.
So you see, with that, I think all those things should be placed in the house, then advocate, then we start paying. Because even all these things, I think meter should be, in some cases, it should be free, because you still pay for it. It's their own property.
Okay.
Just like me building my house, and you never, I get a pole, connect the light, I'll still pay the bill.
All right. All right. Your take have been noted. We have others on the line trying to reach us. Thanks, Mr. Kenneth from Abuja.
I think I'll still come back to talk about the economic thing.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello, you are live on Spectacle program on TVN, and we are talking about electricity distribution.
All right. Good afternoon, Dr.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Abuja.
Okay, Comrade Fred, what is your take on the proposed 20 gigawatt of electricity attainment by 2020 by the Minister of Power.
Thank you very much. I want to start by commending the effort of the President, because we all know that the slogan of Mr. President at the next level is really going to work and it's taking us to places.
All right.
The gigawatt was published by the Minister of Power, Honorable Saleh Maman, that in this auspicious administration of President Mohamed Buhari, it will
I think you have to call us back because your line is breaking.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. It will be if it is usually used to touch the life of the character. And I also see that it doesn't capture how this will be distributed to the people at the rural area. We look at how the artisan who dwell in the hinterland area of the village, like farmers and all of that, they need electricity to survive. Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. You talk about the artisans at the rural areas, graduates.
Yeah, graduates, they need electricity to survive. With the aid of them distributing all this to the grassroots, it will take a lot of people.
Okay.
It will go a long way. And I also want to say that the 600 IC bar that they're going to put, it only goes down to the mainstream that every common Nigeria can benefit from it. It should not be cycled on in the urban area. It should also go interland so that people who have graduated, they will go to most of these places, you see graduates wondering about without any skill. With this, they have engaged themselves with the aid of this electricity going out today, it will help in a long way. I think this proposed agenda is a.
All right, Mr. Fred, thank you for calling. Your point is noted. That was Mr. Kenneth, our regular caller, and Mr. Fred, also our regular caller. Mr. Kenneth hinted on the fact that there are corruption in that sector, and he talked about in the aspect of metering. And of recent, the minister stated that he is going to distribute 600 million meters across the nation, while Udo Fred talked about rural electricity, that oftentimes when the government propose distributions like this, they only make it go around only at the urban cities, that there are artisans, graduates who have no job, and it could create employment succor for them at the rural areas, just the way we have it at the urban areas. Metering is one of the big factors. You pay for meter, you are not given a meter. And they give you bill on, let me say, imaginary bills. They give you bills not knowing what you consume. They call it flat rate. Flat rate. What are the distributing companies, discos, doing with those meters? Meters are meant to be distributed. And of course, the FG invested into this, and other investors also invested into metering. So let the meters go around. People that could afford, let them afford. As a matter of fact, he quoted Fashola, the former Minister of Power, saying that if you do not have meter, you should not pay for electricity power given to you or distribution at your area. And Fred is still calling back, but then let's take more calls and hear their opinions. We missed the call. You can call us back, Fred, if you are watching us. Kenneth, I mean, if you are watching us live, you can reach us and make your positive contribution. I believe that the appropriate authorities are listening. Yeah, hello, welcome to Spectacle. Your name and where you are calling from.
Yeah, I am Samuel Aulebe, calling from Kefi.
Okay, Jeff, you are calling from Kefi.
Yes, sir.
In Nasarawa. So what is your take on the topic of today?
Like you know, more of this issue of power supply. I believe the basic cause and maybe the challenges confronting the supply of energy is lack of the will, political will, you get me, of the political leaders we make, and also poor estimate in logistical costs.
Okay.
Then we have other challenges like kind of weak in technological capacity in the rural areas. Then the investors' profit orientation also play major role in the setback of
Okay. When you talk about the technological approach, what do you mean by that?
okay?
When you talk about the technological aspect of factors against the distribution of power, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean we don't have the accurate kind of adequate technology to put up a stable electricity supply. In a sense, what I'm trying to say is there are modalities for some of these things to be well set up, and I believe we are not doing the best.
Okay.
We are not doing the best.
Okay. What about the proposed?
But still, we are not meeting up with the reality of what we have been placed on in terms of budget as a nation.
Okay.
So we're meeting up standard and demands of the customers.
Okay. Okay. You mean the budget allocated into power, the distribution does not commiserate with the budget?
Yeah, of course. If you are competent with news these days, I believe you must know about the recent proving of the former president.
Of course.
Regarding this power supply.
Okay.
You know, and President Muhammadu Buhari.
Your network is breaking. Maybe you. Okay.
From that time to now, I believe we must have had a lot of budgetary going into certain sector. You get me? But with nothing to write home about.
Okay.
And you know, everybody see this sector like a place to come and make fortune out of nothing. You get me?
Okay.
The whole economy at the brink of nothing to write home about. So I believe it's a challenge because one thing I believe that sector energy needs, you get me?
Yeah.
They don't have the right body monitoring the activities of the people handling projects in this capacity yet. You get me? And I believe some of these things are coming in the line of lack of political will. You get me?
Yeah.
To deliver according to the capacity which the masses demand, because we are just behind.
Okay. The new minister. One question for you. The new minister have said that by 2020, the end of 2020, he didn't say 2023. He said 2020 we would be having 20 gigawatts of capacity for distribution.
One thing I know, you know, the selection of these present ministers now by President Muhammadu Buhari, I think it has to go with a lot of connection of stand minds who know what it takes to deliver.
Okay.
And I believe the new man coming in is an engineer, unlike the former kind of minister who is a barrister, and I doubt he has any knowledge, measuring to the capacity of what the energy sector has to offer.
Okay.
So if you ask me, I will tell you, as an engineer, he has sat down and he has kind of, in his own capacity, studied the sector from all ramifications of that. And I believe he must have done his assessment well. And by credence, you get me.
Yeah.
I believe the president must be satisfied with his background in terms of area of deliverance before being invited to come and champion the ministry.
Okay.
So one thing is certain, you get me. You just have to have our fingers crossed first to see to that time, because for this early time, I don't think it's right for anyone to assess by saying he's capable to deliver or not, because like myself in person, I don't know him, but I believe what the government is up to.
All right.
To have one of the best.
All right.
Time permits.
Thank you for that wonderful contribution, Jeff from Kefi. And of course, Jeff, I've said that we have political schemes as one of the factors against power distribution. He also talked about lack of technology for distributing these capacities proposed and the ones we've been previously attained. And he also talked about commensurate measures of supply to the budget allocations from the past government and even this present administration. He also talked about factor of corruption, citing how the former president, Obasanjo, have been inducted in the of about 16 billion naira that was supposed to electrify the country, allocated to this particular sector for the distribution of same. Are we going to be taken out of the quagmire of epileptic power supply and non-distribution of electricity at the rural areas so that our youths and artisans will get out of joblessness and employ themselves, especially those who are already having a small and medium scale enterprises, who are entrepreneurs on their own? So we pray for Mr. Saleh Maman, the new minister, like he asked us to. And we pray also that God accept our prayers so that Maman, whose honors is to give us power and electrify the country, will achieve it on or before 2020. That is where we're going to stop today on Spectacle. Don't forget, we are open for sponsorship, and you can also reach us via the numbers displayed on your screen. We can tell about your scorecards, your visions, your blueprints, and then we can magnify your profiles. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm your host, Daniel Atai.